Well, good morning, everybody. Nice that you turned up. Very good. Last day of the conference, so it's been a good event, as we all know. I'd firstly like to just thank the Global Exchange for having us and hosting us. We've had a great time. We've had a few technical issues, but I mean, when you've got visuals as big as we have, there's always going to be a few hitches along the way. But without the fantastic support of Rick and the guys at Red Rocket, we'd have been in a pickle. And then finally, I'd like to specifically thank Sam Quinlan for her belief in us, and basically has been a great guidance for us as a new business, which is what we are. We're a new business that began about 10 months ago. So I'll give you a little bit of background. Approximately a year ago, I was laid on a stroke ward. And I'd lost all my speech, and I'd lost the movement in the left-hand side of my body. And leading up to that, I'd had Shovel and I had been making music together a long time and had become great friends. And Ajoia existed in many different guises. We'd worked with pop bands, we'd worked with DJs, we'd travelled the world in that instance like that. And what happened was, Shovel does a lot of sound therapy, and he asked me would I be interested in putting some music over his, what was gong baths, and I'm like, a what? A gong bath? Sort of, for me, it was like, sounds a bit hippie. So I was like at first a bit wary, but all of a sudden the pandemic hit, and there I was with this beautiful recording of these sort of crazy instruments that we see behind us, and what seemed like all the time in the world and nothing to do. So I went to my studio and began on this journey of starting to orchestrate in my own way, using electronic instruments and elements of classical music and dance music as well. All those elements to start to build what I saw as like a visual picture of what I heard. And I kind of made it and sort of let it go, really. So it just sort of sat in the background. And as I said, I woke up one morning about a year ago with a heart rate of 174 beats a minute. And I sort of turned to my wife in bed and was like, something doesn't feel right. And she was like, why, what's wrong? And we looked at my wrist, and my wrist was just literally pumping. You could see the pulse jump on my arm. And so we didn't really know what was going on. So we eventually realised there was something majorly wrong, and I ended up, thank God, being driven by her to the hospital, and at the door of the hospital, not being able to get out of the car. I, by that point, had lost pretty much all my function, which, as I say it now, is genuinely quite emotional. Give me a second. So as I laid in this hospital, thank God, within about 18 hours, my function was starting to come back. But there I was at the age of 47, laying in a hospital bed, surrounded by what was mostly, surprisingly to me, ladies, women of a certain age, like over 50, and men who were much older. But I was shocked by the amount of women on this ward. And it later came to me that there's an awful lot of women have strokes. There's an awful lot of that kind of stuff happens for ladies of a certain age, which is surprised me so much. But as I laid in this bed, there was an awful experience going on opposite me, which I had to escape from, and I didn't know how to escape because, like I say, I didn't really have any function. I couldn't really speak much, but what I did have was I had my iPhone, which is here. And so thank God for technology. I had my iPhone in my pocket, and I thought, Ajoia, I can listen to Ajoia. And so this weird spiritual music that I had made in the studio in my garden all through lockdown all of a sudden had a meaning. And so I thought, wow, I'm going to immerse myself in that. So I put that on, and it took me to a different place. And at that moment, I realized that what we had created together, without really realizing it, was a place where you could go and be calm, be free. It could take you to a different place. It could remove you from anxiety and worry and fear and the not knowing of what was to come. And so at that moment, I had this beautiful experience with the music of Ajoia and knew there was something special. Anyway, the good news was I recovered really well. I came out of hospital pretty quick. And as I was at home, Shovel and he's been a great support to me, incredible support, helping me work through my issues that I was having with anxiety, that I was having with the fear of it happening again. And we spoke and realized that a great thing to do would be that we should take Ajoia in this new format and try and spread that and give that to people as a gift, kind of. Yes, a business, but also a gift. So we aim to take what we do, which is interactive experiences and immersive experiences, and to go to people who have suffering with Alzheimer's, go into hospitals, work with people in prisons. We'd love to get involved with working with the social care within the army. There's loads of different areas that we can look at and develop, as well as working with corporate business, doing things like redeveloping spaces. And in the future, and right now, we're creating apps so that we can take the Ajoia experience into people's homes so they don't have to go somewhere, which I truly believe is the future of all the kinds of experiences that we create. So that's Ajoia, and that's the first time I've ever spoken in public, by the way. So I tried, and I actually felt it went not too bad. So at this point, I'd like to hand you over to Andrew, and we're hopefully going to take you on a lovely journey with us for a little bit of a talk, a little bit of guidance, and then we'll show you what we do at the end. So thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you, Anthony. So good morning. It's an absolute honor and a pleasure and a surprise to be here with Anthony. And as he said, sometimes I think we can all study things and read things and have an idea of where those resources may take us in our lives, and then life happens and we're going along that way, and then suddenly we're over here doing something we didn't ever dream of consciously, but we find it satisfying and humbling, amazing if we're really fortunate, and we meet other people and crossways and pathways, hit at junctions, and then we may go over there, and that's also amazing and surprising. And that's what's happened to myself and Anthony and Neko and others along the way of the Ajoia journey. And our journeys, particularly in conferences that are aimed at certain journeys of lives, where challenges and life traumas can develop in certain individuals and create, at the very least, self-harming behaviours, addictions, where we can isolate. And that's a word that, with our recent COVID years, and certainly in the UK and Europe, was hammered into us. Isolate. Isolate, isolate. And I'm a very, very communicative person. I love community. I don't want to isolate. I want to be within a gang. I want to be within a group. I want to be within a family, whether that's a blood family or a working family or social family. So I found that difficult. And again, that's where this music, these frequencies, vibrations and energies were born. And so, in certain people, it's incredibly challenging to speak, to vocalize their inner feelings. That's even if they know that they're there. That's even if they're conscious of what's happening. I have personal experience of this, feeling incredibly traumatized and having no idea about that. So my earliest beginnings, adoption, fostering, being fostered, and the frequency and energy and vibration that went into my core earliest beginnings, self-beliefs, abandonment, not good enough, rejection, and creates a script that you then can live by, and I certainly did. Until there was lots of therapy that I received, and it worked for me so well that I then became a therapist in various themes and forms. Now I work with children, also as a psychotherapeutic counsellor, craniosacral therapist, somatic experience practitioner, and sound therapy. Our nervous systems and our bodies are always with us, but are very easy in a lot of people to forget and not connect our mind with our bodies, and our thoughts and emotions and our feelings all come here and argue with us and tell us things and inform us. And our body can be treated by the mind like a shed or an attic. And our mind is incredibly skillful at sieving and sorting out subconsciously what we should think about. Don't think about him, don't think about her, don't think about that thing that happened, but I can't fully get rid of it. So where shall I put it? I'll put it down here, and I'll lodge it in the knee, and I'll put it in my elbow. And why don't you shove a bit in the bottom of your back? Why don't you put some here and cause anxiety? Why don't you bring some depression, anger? I can't sleep. I am insomnia. I've got insomnia. We start telling ourselves, I'm a certain person who's just got a really short temper. I'm just an angry person. I'm envious. Road rage. My belief, our belief, like many others, is that the body is this storehouse for trauma, and the mind can convince us that we're fine. In fact, say yes to more work. Take on more. Don't say no. Don't say no thank you. Say yes, even when every bit of you is saying no. Put more pressure on yourself. And at certain points the body will just, listen, you need to have this, because you're not listening to me, and I will knock you down. As Anthony spoke of his personal experience. So this is a way of letting or offering for your body to speak, for your nervous system to maybe move from its held grip of sympathetic charge. When outside we're, hello, how are you? I'm fine, how are you? And inside it's going, constantly. But it becomes normalized. So this is an opportunity. You don't have to verbalize. You don't have to get asked questions. You don't have to answer. Indeed, the invitation is to sit or lie or rest and receive the frequencies and energies and vibrations of the sounds, but also the colours and the visuals. It's a journey of the nervous system, and whether your belief is one of chakras or your belief is more anatomical, of plexus, plexi, nerval pathways, organs, or a mixture of the both. There's no coincidence. It's the major junctions of the plexus are in exact position of the chakras. offering from Ajoia here today, in fact every moment of every moment, is to clear and cleanse, dare I say heal, the blockages, the tightness, the heldness, the constrictedness, the non-benefit in our bodies. That the release, that the charge can be reduced from our root, the red, our stability, our holding, up to the sacrum, our sexual energy, our connection. The orange of the solar plexus meeting the yellow of the solar plexus, the orange of our sacrum meeting the yellow of our solar plexus. Our clarity, our connection, our belonging, flowing to the green of our heart, our emotional center, our compassion, our love for ourselves, potentially, and others, the midpoint of our below and our above. Our blueness of our throat, our communication. What are we offering? What are we sharing? What haven't we said? What did we wish we said? How do we breathe? To our third eye. Pituitary, pineal. How do we see the unseeable? How do we feel in our mind? Like an indigo. The crown. What else is out there? The infinite universe, the unspoken communication of a dear friend, a relative, a child, a mother, father, grandparent. I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to call. I had a feeling about that. Whoosh. That we are our nervous systems. That the more in tune, more balance, the homeostasis is in our bodies. That it seems so sensible to give our cars a tune-up, to update our phones, to give our boiler a service, but very often we neglect our own boilers, data. So the offer is to sit, lie, lay, breathe, gently, slowly. Less is more, slower is faster. When dealing with things that can unwind and disentangle in our bodies, that may have been there a long time, it's just gently, in a titrated way. Thank you. Satisfied, not satisfied. Seeking out to the vast expanse of ocean, infinite blue sky caresses the water as we witness the horizon. The sun is shining, pushing the electric fire so deep inside the heart, expanding and rhythmical, jumping and pleasing, cascading through the eyes of many into the heart of one, raising our hopes and aspirations along with our arms, looking for LOVE, looking for LOVE, LOVE, LOVE. the speed of the raging ball we can be in for much of our life. Important it seemed, being the best, being the highest, stacking the most amount, driving the fastest. We miss the whole point, the whole reason of our existence. In this haste, it's very difficult to see not only where we are, to be that image of ourselves we believe gives us happiness. far out of ourselves, traveling so fast that we are not with ourselves. So far out of ourselves, traveling so fast. So far out of ourselves, traveling so fast. So far out of ourselves, traveling so fast. Phase of life. The phase of life.